Hi, friend, and welcome to Tidy the Clutter podcast. I'm Mariah, and I'm so glad you're here. This is the place where we talk about real-life ways to simplify your home and digital spaces. Let's face it, life gets busy real quick. Between work, kids, emails, and everything else on your plate, it's easy to feel like things are slipping through the cracks. The good news, it doesn't have to stay that way. In each episode, I'll be sharing practical tips, small wins, and simple strategies to help you clear the clutter both in your physical and digital spaces. You can feel more in control and have more time for what truly matters most to you. Whether it's setting up routines that stick, taming your inbox, or tackling toy chaos, my goal is to make getting organized doable, even on your busiest days. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's get started. Hi, friend. I think we all have those spaces in our homes that need a little bit of organizing, but the idea of actually tackling them can feel like a lot, right? Please tell me I'm not alone there. Well, today I'm here to help break it down into a way that feels easy and manageable. Whether it's a closet packed with things we no longer need, a pantry where everything seems to pile up, or even a computer desktop full of stray files, I've got some simple organizing tips that work for any space. These are steps I use myself, and they are all about keeping things realistic. And along the way, I'll share a few real-life examples just to make it even easier to see how these steps work. So if you're ready to dive into some organizing that won't take hours, but will definitely help things feel lighter, let's jump in. One of the easiest ways to make organizing feel doable is to start with something small. Nothing feels more overwhelming than looking at an entire room and wondering where to begin. Instead, focus on one tiny area. Maybe it's just a single drawer in the kitchen, or a single shelf in the closet, or even just that pile of paperwork you just keep meaning to go through. For example, when I started organizing my gift wrapping space, I decided to focus on just one shelf. Clearing that small space gave me the quick win and made it easier to tackle the next area. It was simple to organize things as I went along because I grouped all the bows together, I sorted the gift bags, and I gave each item a place before moving on to the next shelf. Those items that I didn't want on that shelf, I set to the side in their same grouping. It's amazing how just a little bit of progress can motivate you. And the best part, you're building momentum without feeling like you're doing a whole heck of a lot or even doing everything all at once. Once you've picked a small area to work on, the next step is to group similar items together. This trick is super helpful because it lets you see exactly what you have, making it easier to keep things organized. If we go back to the gift wrapping space, as I cleared each shelf, I put all the wrapping paper in one spot, bows in another, and grouped the ribbons and gift bags appropriately. In the kitchen, it might mean gathering all the baking supplies in one section or organizing spices so they're all in the same place. Actually, as I was going through the space, I realized we had several packs of white tissue paper scattered throughout the almost entire space. It was like insanely overwhelming. By grouping them all together, I can now easily see what I have, and it has saved me from buying more white tissue paper. Holidays are upon us, and at the end of Christmas, I feel like there's so much gift wrap and wrapping paper that's all on sale, and white tissue paper has sometimes been a part of that. And I'm like, yes, I always need white tissue paper. Now I know, no, Mariah, you do not, please do not buy any more white tissue paper for a while. Anyway, if you are also feeling the need to organize your digital space here, I've put together a quick guide that might help you. It's filled with simple steps to tidy up emails, organize your desktop, and even bring some calm to your digital world. If you're interested, you can find all the details in the show notes at tidytheclutter.com/008. Now, we have officially grouped everything together, right? In our little space that we're working on. It's easier to see what you have, and that's when we realize we're holding on to things we don't really need, like the 3 to the last quarter inch of tape in the tape roll. Point fingers at me, please, because yes, that was me. Or the wrapping paper cutter thing that worked one Christmas, but hasn't worked since. So it's just kind of chilling there because I'm thinking it might fix itself. We don't need it. This is where the editing part comes in. As I went through the gift wrapping space, I noticed some of the supplies I hadn't touched in ages, like a few half-used rolls of ribbons. And there were even 2 almost completely gone rolls of wrapping paper that I'd bought years ago, but the sections were so small, I just haven't used them. It was pretty freeing to let these go, knowing I was only keeping items I'd actually use. The goal here isn't to get rid of everything, okay? But it's about creating breathing room in your space for the items that you have and that truly serve a purpose for you. Dana White mentions in her book, Decluttering at the Speed of Light, each space you have is basically a container for your items. It gives you a set amount of space to work with in order to hold your stuff. She said it much better than I just attempted to quote. But this is such a great way of thinking about your space. By keeping only what you know you'll use, you're simplifying the space you have and making it much easier to stay organized going forward. After making those conscious decisions on what to keep, it's time to give everything a home. This is honestly one of my favorite parts because it's so satisfying knowing exactly where each thing belongs and then I can find it. Moving forward, this is also where organizing becomes sustainable because each item has a home. You are much less likely to end up with random clutter piling up again because each item that you're bringing in has a space and home that it's going to. With the gift wrapping space, for example, I decided where everything would live based on how often I used it. The gift bags seemed to be used the most, and so they received almost an entire shelf where they were organized based on the event. So I have wedding, baby shower, birthdays, Christmas, etc. This made them very accessible and easy to grab. Now, on the other hand, my ribbon was put up a bit higher on the door, so that way it's still reachable, but it's not front and center. I do not use ribbon every single time I wrap gifts. So having it off my front and center just makes more sense to me. And thinking of each shelf or bin as its own container can really help to avoid overcrowding. When the container is full, it's a great reminder to reassess and let go of anything that doesn't fit comfortably and you haven't used or will use in the next 12 months or so. It's a great way to keep things simple and avoid the temptation to overfill the space just because it's there. We all know that organizing isn't always as straightforward as it sounds. As much as we wish it was, it's not. Sometimes decision fatigue sets in, and we feel attached to items we're not even sure we really need. Here are a couple of ways to tackle those common challenges without feeling so overwhelmed by them. If you're getting stuck on making decisions, try working within your container's limits. Let the space itself guide you, and when you reach the limit, pause and ask yourself what's truly worth keeping and will you be able to use it in the near future? This can really ease the pressure of deciding what stays and what goes. If you aren't planning to use the item in the near future, then it's likely that it won't get used. If sentimental items are piling up, remember that you don't need to keep everything for it to hold meaning. For example, if you have a few crafts from your kids, because our kids love drawing pictures and making crafts, and I don't know anybody who has a fridge big enough to hold all of these. But if you have a few crafts that your kids have made, try choosing a few of your favorites that truly bring you the most joy. Then take a photo of the others or scan it into the computer. Or there's even some really awesome places. I can't think of the name right now. Dang it. I will find it and I'll put it in the show notes. But you are able to fill a box full of their crafts, send it in, they'll take professional pictures of it and put it in a book for you. That's a great way to still keep those keepsakes, but now they are, I want to say squashed, but that sounds bad, but they're squashed to a book. Okay. But it's still, the sentimental part is still there. You get to keep the memory without the physical clutter. It's all about finding a balance that lets you hold on to what's special while still keeping your space calm and manageable. Each small choice honestly just brings you closer to a space that feels like yours. Simple, clear, and filled only with the things that matter most to you. Getting organized isn't just about making a space look tidy, okay? It's about creating a space that genuinely works for you and supports how you want to live. By starting small, using the idea of containers to keep things manageable, and finding a home for every item, you're setting up a system that's easy to maintain and brings more calm into your daily life. For instance, when I organized my gift wrapping closet, knowing exactly how much room I had for each item or each category helped me make smart decisions about what to keep. I realized I didn't need more ribbon, and I definitely didn't need more wrapping paper because I could see that the full stash I had was already there and it took up the space it needed. When you have a clear idea of your space and what you own, it also makes it easier to say no to items that would just add to the clutter. I hope these tips have shown you how organizing and decluttering can keep things in check, making it simpler to avoid unnecessary items coming in. And if today's episode helped you, feel free to share it with a friend who might be looking to tackle their own space. Remember, it's all about creating space that works for you and feels balanced. Now, next time, we're going to be diving into, dun dun dun, the laundry room, a space that can be challenging to keep under control. I'll share tips for setting up simple laundry routines, organizing your laundry area, and even ways to ideally get the family involved to make it easier on you. Until then, take care. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Tidy the Clutter podcast. I hope you're leaving today with at least one small step that you're excited to take. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about finding what works for you and building on it little by little. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love it if you'd give the podcast a follow and leave a quick review. It really helps others find the show and join us on this journey toward less stress and more ease. And if you're looking for more tips, resources, or just a bit of extra motivation, head over to tidytheclutter.com, and everything you need to stay organized and feel more in control is waiting for you there. Until next time, keep things simple, stay focused, and enjoy those small wins along the way. Take care and talk soon.